Hey, it's Bree, and you better get ready for me. I'm not even gonna lie, I am a little bit nervous doing this story time, and it doesn't even have anything to do with like me being embarrassed. I'm just nervous because of the fact that since the time that I got home, got a shower, and got ready to film this video, I literally went from like almost 6,000 subscribers to officially 6,000 subscribers. So I literally gained over 1,000 subscribers in 15 hours. And I'm literally like shook from that. Like I can't even wrap my mind around that. Like I was just expecting this to be like a regular filming day. Like I just come on here and expose myself. But now I'm just feeling extremely humble and like small and thankful. And so I just want to take this time to like really tell you guys that like 2 months ago when I made that video, I was kind of making that video. I'm talking about the video where I was like scamming sugar daddies, that story time. When I made that story time, like it was me rebelling against my friends and family because they were like, oh, don't do it. And I was like, I'ma do it. And damn, like y'all like it. Y'all like me. And I cannot say thank you enough, like to the people who follow me on Instagram, to the people who DM'd me like some of the sweetest, like some of y'all are so insanely nice that I'm actually starting to change my perspective and want to be a nice person myself. Y'all put in so much pressure on me. But anyways, I went ahead and ran a poll today, and I already knew what story time you guys were gonna vote for, okay? Because most of you guys found me from the scamming sugar daddy story time, so I knew you guys were gonna want more of that. But I'm just like overrunning with ideas that I just wanted to see like which one you guys wanted to see first. And I didn't even check the results. Like the last time I saw it, it was like over 100 votes, and I saw which one was winning, so I know what you guys want. And obviously I'm here to give it to you. Seriously, like for real, this story time is embarrassing, y'all. It's embarrassing. Like it's embarrassing because I could have just got a job. But today I'm gonna tell you the story about the worst sugar daddy date I have ever been on in my life. Now before I go ahead and get into this story, you guys already know the deal. Go ahead and click that red button, I can't wink, and subscribe, and don't forget to click that bell for notifications, because I know after this story you guys are gonna want to see Bree all the time, every time I upload. So this story time actually happened earlier this year. I would say in February. Yeah, that sounds about right. So this story time happened in February of this year because it was just after my birthday, because my birthday's in January, and I was still trying to like milk these sugar daddies to like give me gifts and take me out to free dinners. I was honestly just being a bum, if you really want to know the truth. Like I could have went and got a job and supported myself and took myself to nice dinners, but I was still like very entitled and very stubborn. And as we grow and bond together, you guys will realize, damn, you could have avoided a lot of things if you just wasn't such a stubborn bitch. So around this time, I was completely over catfishing. Like I definitely did not have the energy for that, because as soon as they would have asked me to FaceTime or send a Snapchat, like those old guys really started to get hip, and I was not about to teach myself how to make a fake Snapchat. Like that was just doing too much. So at this point in my life, I was using 3 sites. I was using Seek and Arrangement, I was using Arrangement Finders, and I was using Tinder. Now during this time in my life, I had a roommate, and I was really trying to pay these bills, you guys. But for someone who really wanted to pay bills so bad, you would have thought that I would have just got a job. But we're just gonna drag me in the comments below. This particular story time, I met this guy off Tinder, because the thing about finding a sugar daddy on Tinder is that those guys are kind of in the same mindset as you. Like they're trying to link right now. Like everything on Tinder is just like right now, and that's kind of why I feel like I had good luck finding sugar daddies on there, because if they said they wanted to meet, they were sending an Uber. They wanted to meet. You know what I'm saying? So this guy, I met him, and like I said, this was like after my birthday, so I was still trying to milk those dinners, those dates, you know what I'm saying? And I told him, I'm like, oh my God, well, my birthday just passed and I'm just getting back in town, because what really happened, story within a story, is that I went on a trip to Vegas thinking that I was gonna meet somebody there, and the trip ended up being completely burnt. So when I came back here, I was definitely on a mission to acquire some coin. So when I told him like my sob story about how like I went on like a burnt trip, he was like, oh well, I definitely, like, I have no problem making that up to you. I'll make sure that I take you to a nice place. And the conversation on Tinder was going pretty well, like pretty decent as far as like sugar baby, sugar daddy conversations go, because like I said in my other story time, I know how to hold a conversation. And it got to the point where he was like, oh, like, can we talk on the phone? Like, I would love to talk to you on the phone. And me being a sugar baby vet, I'm like, yeah, like, I don't have no problem talking to you on the phone. Like, give me a ring. So he calls me on the phone, y'all. And this is where story time gets embarrassing, because I'm about to be brutally honest. Okay, he basically calls me on the phone, and you know, we're having this like icebreaker conversation to see if we're even going to be able to make it to a face-to-face date. So we get on the phone, and I'm like, oh, like, how long have you been a sugar daddy? Like, I'm just asking certain questions to see if this is really like the lifestyle that he knows is for him, or if he just wants to like use and abuse women. And like the answers I was getting from him made it seem like he's accustomed to this lifestyle, that he has the money for this lifestyle, and that he is creepy. Okay? One of the stories that he shared with me during this conversation, during this icebreaker conversation, mind you, is that he basically had a sugar baby before, and I don't really remember how they met. I believe that they met in real life. And he was like helping her out, and what did he tell me? So basically he met this girl, and she was giving him the runaround. Like, basically she was using him without actually meeting him in real life, because I guess he was that lonely and that willing. He tells me she ended up moving up north. Like, she asked him to help buy her new furniture, buy her a U-Haul, all of that, and she just kind of like ghosted him, like moved up north. And so he stalked her on Facebook to find out like her location. So he buys her a brand new MacBook computer and drives up to the Bay Area, thinking that somebody who doesn't want to see him is going to be excited to see him. And he basically tells me the story of how he drives all the way up to the Bay and gets to where they were going to meet, and she didn't even show up. And so he tells me this pathetic story of how he buys somebody a laptop that is basically worth a used car just to get ghosted on. And yeah, it was really weird, but then at the same time I'm thinking, ka-ching, ka-ching, like, damn, you just got money to waste like that? You buying people MacBooks? Like, okay. I'm like, I gotta snag this. If he's giving out MacBooks, I need to get my MacBook. So when are we hanging out? I'm trying to get to scheduling a date, scheduling a date, scheduling a date. Why does this man tell me that he has erectile dysfunction? Y'all, like, I was just, when he told me that, I was literally like flabbergasted, because we hadn't even discussed any kind of sexual anything. And he just kind of like threw that out there. I didn't really know how to receive that. And I was honest with him. I'm like, well, I've never really been in a situation with somebody like that before, so I don't really know if I would be able to give you that tender love and care that you may need. And, you know, he starts backing down. And when he starts backing down, I start getting more aggressive. I'm like, no, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't meet up. Because the part that I left out is that in the messages where we were communicating on Tinder, he was like, oh yeah, like, I would love to meet up with you and take you out to dinner and give you a gift. And then he had kind of like threw the ball in my court to make up my mind about how much that gift would be, because we all knew that the gift was gonna be money. So when he brought up the erectile dysfunction thing, I'm like, first of all, what makes you even think that I was gonna see you again? But you know, I instantly started backtracking when I felt like I was hurting his feelings a little bit. But best believe I secured that date. And I liked, to be honest with you guys, I liked how lonely he was, because it was like he just had time on his hands and he was just like, okay, well, since we got that out of the way, I do feel comfortable with you. Are you free tomorrow? And I was like, yeah, I'm free tomorrow. So we made plans for him to pick me up. So I gave him a fake address. Well, honestly, I told him that I went to a college that's actually, I live down the street from. And so I Ubered myself to the college so he could pick me up from there, because he did not need to know where I lived. Okay, especially knowing that he's a borderline stalker, I was definitely not gonna give him my address. You know, like, I'm stupid, but I'm not that stupid. So he takes forever to pull up. I'm taking selfies, and then I get a text message like, oh, I'm here. So I'm looking around like, where? And then he's like, oh, I drive Uber part-time. I'm in my Uber car. Y'all, so I start looking around for the little U in the window. I'm like, that was the first thumbs down of the evening. I'm like, you picked me up in your Uber car? You couldn't even impress me and pick me up in a Range Rover, like the Uber car? And it was like a Scion that was like a weird color. I'm like, for real? I get in the Uber, and the first thing he does, I'm gonna insert a picture of that day so y'all can see the hair that I had. The first thing he did was touch my hair when I got in the car. And I'm like, I am a black girl. You don't touch my hair. But I was literally like, I'm a black girl. You know, you don't touch black girls' hair. Ha, ha, ha. Like, I said it like in a quirky way. But it's like, I've never seen you in person I've never seen you in person in my life. Can you lay off? Like, don't touch me immediately. Like, I know I'm gorgeous, but I'm not that mesmerizing where you need to physically touch me as soon as I get in the car. This is where the date goes completely downhill. And I know you're like, girl, you're dramatic because you literally just got in the car. I'm not being dramatic. I'm not. We didn't even drive 2 miles away from the school that he picked me up from. And we passed a high school. And he's like, funny story, in the 70s, I picked a girl up from this school. And so I'm like, okay, like, you know, like, I'm thinking this is like, oh, okay, like, he just picked up a hitchhiking girl. Like, people hitchhiked in the 70s, like, no big deal. So he's like, yeah, like, I picked up this girl, like, she was ditching school. I think she was like 15 or 17 years old. And I never forgot that girl. That's crazy. Like, I never forgot her. And I was just like, I haven't said nothing, y'all. 2 minutes go by, and he's just like thinking out loud, thinking about like, oh yeah, like she was ditching, and it seemed like she was just having like a really bad day. So I was actually happy that I was there to pick her up. And I took her to a record store, and we just looked through records, and then she ended up going home. And, you know, I'm just kind of quiet. And then out of nowhere, he goes, you know, I think the age of consent in Alabama is 16. Y'all, I was looking out the window like, what did he just say? Me being rude, I was like, what made you want to say that? Like, I literally asked him, I'm like, what made you think of that? And he goes, oh yeah, like, I picked her up that time. Like, yeah, like, I knew her life at home was like really hard. So I made sure like I hung out with her more than one time because I actually was like concerned for her. And I mean, yeah, like, I fondled her a little bit, but it was never like anything too much. Like, I never did anything that made her too uncomfortable. I probably just like touched her boobs or, you know, rubbed her under the skirt. Y'all, I had never heard anything like that in my life. Seriously, like, I had never heard someone admit that they picked up a girl who was having a hard time in her life and kind of like groomed her and used like record stores and little gifts to kind of like fondle her and to admit it. Oh, y'all, like when I say my mood changed, like it's hard for me to be fake. It's hard for me to be fake. Like, oh my God, like the fondling thing, like I physically had an outer body experience because I could not believe he admitted that. I thought he had more sense than that. Like I knew he was lonely, but I was like, are you not around people to know that that's inappropriate? Like, do you see other human beings and have conversations? Like, and I'll say this, I was getting comments from people on my story time about scamming sugar daddies, and they were like, oh, you're disgusting, oh, you're this, oh, you're that, you're gonna get karma. Did y'all forget that these are like 50, 60, 40-year-old men who want to date college-aged girls? Did y'all forget that? This story time is so humiliating. Like, it's just painful. Like, this is a painful story to tell y'all. I just need to let y'all know. So y'all better give this video the views because this is painful. We go to this restaurant called Gladstone's on the Pacific Coast Highway, and basically it is a upper scale seafood restaurant in like Pacific Palisades, Santa Monica area. Like, it's by the beach in LA. The food comes, and this is when I just knew that the sugaring lifestyle was not for me. Seriously, like, this date was a wake up call that there's got to be something more to life than this. So I'm looking out on the beach. He's looking out on the beach. People, you know, they had their blankets out on the beach. They were sunbathing. They were doing their thing. But the sun had started to go down. So people started to pack up and everything because obviously it gets cold by the beach. And there was like a family. There was like a mom, a daughter, and another daughter. I'm going to tell y'all the truth. One of the daughters was like 4 to 5 years old. The other daughter was like 15, 16. The oldest she was 17. But she was definitely not like 18 or legal. The family gets up, like their beach day's over. They're wrapping everything up. When the 4-year-old stood up, not the 16-year-old. When the 4-year-old stood up, he's like, oh, I thought she was older. Now, some of y'all may be new to my channel, but I wear glasses. Like, I cannot see. I need to wear glasses. But even my blind ass knew that that was a, like, child. Like, a legitimate child. And I'm thinking that he's talking about the 16-year-old. I'm like, are you talking about the girl by the mom? He's like, no, her right there. I'm like, y'all, the only thing that I could say was, oh, because I guess the other girl is too old for your liking, huh? Like, what 11 or 12 or 13-year-old is that tiny? And he had the nerve to get offended. Because I forgot to tell y'all this. When I got in the car, he said something weird along the lines of, I was hoping you would be younger. Like, when I got in the car, he basically kind of said something along the lines of, and this is before we even passed the high school. He was like, basically trying to insinuate that he was hoping that I was like a 16 or 17-year-old girl that was passing as like 18 or 19 or 20 so I could get money or so that I could have a sugar daddy. That didn't even seem weird to me until we passed the high school, until he talked about the age of consent in Alabama, and until that moment right there. When he said that about that little girl, I mean, y'all, it took everything in me not to yell over the glass that separated the restaurant from the beach to that mom and tell that mom, get your kids and hide your kids, hide your wife. That's the best way I could put it. I wanted to get over that glass and yell at her, get your daughters out of here. You know what I'm saying? And she probably wouldn't even have got that. She would have been like, what are you mad at me for? But I just wanted her to remove her children instantaneously. Women, we just make it up in our mind like, okay, I'm done. I'm done. Like, I'm gonna be cordial for the rest of the night so you don't kill me. But I am over it. And I made up in my mind that I was done. And he does this. He's like, I'm just not really feeling it. Do you mind if I get you an Uber home? Like, he basically tries to make it seem like he's sick or he's tired and that's why he doesn't want to take me all the way home. When in real life, he knows that he disgusted me beyond comprehension and I don't want to be in that car with him any longer either. So he's like, did you think of how much you want for the gift? And I'm just like, just give me $300. Like, I really wanted to ask for way more than that, but I could tell by the fact that he was pretending to be sick or exhausted that he wanted me like out of his way. So I just was like, you know, you can give me 300. But this is how the story ends. Months later, y'all, months later, I have a job, I have a YouTube channel. I am content with the fact that I no longer finesse pathetic old men for money. I'm content. Why do I get a call on my phone on my way to work and I'm already late? So I'm like, what number is this, right? Because it kind of looks familiar, I'm not gonna lie. So I answer. I'm like, hello. And he goes, hi. Pathetic. He sounded so pathetic, y'all. Like, and I'm like, who is this? And he's like, oh, it's so-and-so. And as soon as he said his name, I knew exactly who he was. And I was gonna hang up immediately, but he kept talking, so I'm like, let me hear it. And he's like, you know, we went on a date and I told you that story. You really didn't like it. Today's my birthday. Click. I hung up on him right at that point. Click, click. I would love the money from anybody but you. How lonely do you have to be where you called somebody who you knew you disgusted and repulsed and was going to ask them to spend time with you on your birthday in exchange for money? How pathetic do you have to be? Seriously. That's my story of my sugar date from hell. Please, please do not be like me. If you guys like this video, go ahead and turn that thumbs up. Blue, support your girl. Get those fingers moving in the comments below, and please tell me how you guys would have handled that date, what y'all would have done, and if you guys would have continued using him. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Till next time.